So over here we have Ron MF Maple's Poor Diesel Challenge truck, his $10,000 budget build. He started posting a couple videos, we just haven't kept up on them. So here's a quick update. 95 second gen Dodge 2-wheel drive. I bought this thing. We tore the drivetrain out of it, sold it. We actually made more on the drivetrain than we had in the chassis. He wanted to use Bernie for this Poor Diesel Challenge, but the frame is not good enough to drive down the road or down a drag strip. It's just not going to happen. So this was a solid chassis we had sitting here. The body's not the prettiest, but I think it's a solid platform to start with. So we welded the rear end in this thing, Dyno 70. We put some traction bars on it. We literally had those traction bars laying in the shop. Everything you do, you put on these trucks, you have to put a value on. So you get on Marketplace, you find a few things to compare to, then you put a value on it. So everything you see here is going to have an itemized value, and we've got to keep it under $10,000. And we're going to be pushing our budget. I'm not saying we're not, but we're legitimately going to have built this truck for under $10,000. Gonna go home with us. Ron's he's been thrashing on this, so I don't have a ton of videos of doing anything to show you. He's got our nitrous hooked up at this point. He made his cheap nitrous mounts, just a couple of hose clamps, a piece of wood, so that didn't cost us much. We got some batteries he got from work out of an old semi that he paid like core price for. They're kind of mediocre batteries. Not sure how that's going to go, but I guess we're going to find out. He's got his fast pump, the baddest of the bad fasts, I think. Fast hooked us up with that. He's going to put fair market value on that. That's the fuel cell out of our monster truck from when I bought it, when it was running methanol. That's like a 20-gallon fuel cell or something. Got his homemade mounts on there. Nothing pretty going on, but it's functional. Got a ratchet shifter out of a truck. I had saved this from years ago. Actually, the engine that's in the monster truck, when I bought that truck and parted it out, I saved the ratchet shifter out of it, and the engine went in the monster truck. So that's where the ratchet shifter come from. He'll have a value on that. It's really not a very nice shifter. It doesn't work very good, I'll be honest. We got a push-pull cable for his fuel shut-off. The gauges were in the truck. Whatever that thing is, we still haven't figured out what that thing does. It kind of bleeps and everything else. This is where things get a little spicy. Got this sweet hood stack on this thing. I mean, you just don't find hood stacks like that. In fact, I've never seen another one. I don't know where the guy got it from, but is what it is. Hood stack pipe. Ran that on Coming On in like the pulling truck in like 2009. JH Diesel actually had that on their truck at Bristol. I took it to them because they didn't have a hood stack pipe. We slapped it on their truck in the parking lot. The guys we're going to be competing against. That hood stack pipe right there. Got a story with that one. 5-blade stainless diesel turbocharger. It's basically a box stock S400. They went through the bearings on, checked it out for me. Used compressor housing. It was an 87. It's an 87 turbine, 75 millimeter wheel, 5-blade. That thing has ran on the monster truck for 3 years at this point. Took an absolute whooping. The thing probably needs a rebuild after this. It still feels really good. No in play or anything. The thing has made crazy power in the monster truck, or did what it needed to do. But at this point, the value of that's probably less than half price of what you would go buy one for from them, for sure. So we'll have a value on that. We did get a blemished stainless diesel manifold from them. They had a few that came back with some blems on them. We got that bought on a discount, so we'll have to put a value on that. P-pump, 24 valve Cummins engine. This is where the story is here. JH Diesel had this pump, lines, injectors. It's got a fleece coolant bypass on the back of it. So JH had this in their truck at Bristol. If you watched his videos, this is the one that was in his sled pulling truck that eventually became the burnout truck, that eventually became the square body that now has the 6.7 diesel in it that I hooked him up with. So JH and I did a trade. I got that 6.7 bought on a really good deal on Marketplace, legitimately paid cash, traded even up for all the parts that are on this engine here. Now his engine had melted pistons, but we had a long block sitting here. It's a VP44 long block. It's like out of an 01. There's not a lot of value to those. I mean, the head is like the value on those. The bottom ends don't bring much anymore. A lot of people have went 6.7 and whatnot, so we got to put a value on that. So I feel like we have about $3,500 ish in the whole engine setup that's here, minus this ATS intake and the stainless diesel stuff over here. I mean, so we had to do some trading, little wheeling dealing and whatever, but that's legitimately, I think, what we have in that setup. We have a pretty sweet concoction with our 5-blade turbo. We actually played with that on our dirt drag truck Merica years ago. Figured out the turbine housing, everything, how it works. Put an external wastegate, which you see on here. Ron bought that off of Marketplace. He'll have a value on that. We got it to where they make really good power for what they are. They light fairly well on a lower budget, smaller cubed engine like we deal with a lot of times, this 5.9 stuff. And they seem to live. We just beat the crap out of these things, and those stainless diesel turbos just take an absolute whooping. So maybe we'll push it too far on dyno. As you saw, there's a little bit of nitrous on this. So I forgot to explain to you guys about the transmission in Ron's Poor Diesel Challenge truck. It happens to be a 47 RH transmission out of a 94, 95 Dodge. It is nothing special. Our friend Landis ended up with this thing. It had been rebuilt at some point in time. He threw a shift kit in it for us, had a converter laying there that had been used. We bought it off of him on a decent deal, and we threw it in there, and so far Ron's had it out testing a little bit at this point. We actually took it to dyno, which here's a video of that. He's did a couple burnouts with it. I think he actually drove it to work today. So this Poor Diesel Challenge truck, which is not here, this is not it, this is another project I'll show you, is out driving around today, guys. But I hope you enjoy the dyno video. I'm not going to tell you how much power it made. All I'm going to say is that we thought we were in that ballpark, and we were okay with it. And we can always push it harder on dyno at UCC for this Poor Diesel Challenge if we need to. We're just trying to hold back a little just to maybe make it live. So we hope to see you guys at UCC. We'll keep doing videos of this up until then, and we hope that we can represent with this Cummins powered machine that Ron's driving.